Many people have been startled by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Chair Gary Gensler's anti-cryptocurrency crusade. Why aren't more people aware of the SEC versus Ripple case, and why it could lead to a significant price increase? Stay tuned to find out. But first, we are giving away $500 at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like in the video, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section.
Hey guys, have you ever heard about Stablepool? If you own XRP and are interested in making constant money on exchanges like 1inch, Uniswap and co., then this website is perfect for you. After having to sign up to the site with your email, you can simply go to Top Up and select the currency and the amount of it that you want to deposit on the site. Now go to Open DeFi Staking or add liquidity in Liquidity Pool. The site shows you how much of that amount you'll earn as interest within 12 hours, usually around 0.1 to 0.2%. Within 1 year, you'll have made 2x without any risk, which helped the site receive more than $80 million within the first week. And the best part, if you sign up until October 31st, you'll receive $50 in a random cryptocurrency for free.
Welcome back XRP Army. Let's grow the XRP Lab community by pressing the like button and subscribe. Gary Gensler is the current chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and he sits on a throne erected with money from Jeffrey Epstein and Wall Street. Gensler, unlike Jay Clayton, had extensive government experience before being appointed to the SEC. He worked in Clinton's Treasury Department from 1999 to 2001, holding high-level roles. He was the chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission from 2009 until 2014. CFTC. Gensler, like Jay Clayton, has extensive ties to Wall Street. He joined Goldman Sachs immediately out of college and, at the age of 30, became one of the firm's youngest partners. His 2021 federal financial filings have been released, and they suggest that he is now valued between $50 and $100 million. Furthermore, while serving as the head of the country's most powerful financial regulatory body, Gensler confesses that he is still on Goldman Sachs' payroll. During his time in government, Bill Hinman received $15 million from Simpson Thacker. Gary Gensler continues to receive funds from Goldman Sachs. Prior to joining the SEC, Gensler worked in academia, teaching at MIT's Sloan School of Management and acting as the senior advisor to the MIT Media Lab Digital Currency Initiative. When examining Gensler's perspective on cryptocurrencies, the origin of his own income, and his ethics through association, his time and actions in both of these professions raise numerous red flags. Gensler frequently claimed that XRP was a bank currency, not a security, while teaching about cryptocurrencies at the Sloan School of Management. XRP and the Ripple network might still exist even if Ripple, the corporation, collapsed, he said in a research article. These remarks are diametrically opposed to those he has made on the matter since being nominated to the SEC, raising the obvious question of why the change. What's even more fascinating about his MIT research is who he collaborated with and who sponsored it. Joy Ito, Gensler's close associate and friend in the lab, was once called by Gensler as one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs. Jeffrey Epstein is also a close friend of Ito's. He was so close to Epstein that he took many journeys to Jeffrey Epstein's island on the Lolita Express, and he was able to persuade Epstein to support Gensler's lab with a $525,000 payment. This was followed by a whopping $1.2 million payment to Gensler's lab, also from Epstein, allowing him to operate as the lab's de facto advisor. Epstein also acted as a go-between for Gensler's lab and other affluent contributors, raising more than $7.5 million from individuals and organizations such as Bill Gates and Jay Clayton's good friend Leon Black. Even after MIT declared Epstein disqualified, the lab continued to collect gifts from him, consulted him about the use of the funds, and avoided identifying his contributions by classifying them as anonymous. Ito said at the MIT Bitcoin Expo in 2015 that the Media Lab's crypto program came together because we don't even know who's in control, and he wanted MIT to take over. Ito's perspective was definitely Bitcoin maximalist, stating that the biggest risk to Bitcoin is the community's architecture failing, and the need to select which assets other than Bitcoin would be in or out, or altcoins part of it. How about Ripple? Ito inquired. Ledger, a startup that was developing a speedier, more environmentally friendly consensus system to compete with Bitcoin's slow, fossil fuel-intensive proof-of-work process. Ito used progressive buzzwords and purrs to advocate for Wall Street's preferred regulatory model, community architecture, open networks, and a regulatory incubator that put altcoins like Ripple behind Bitcoin. For the lab, Gensler was the ideal frontman. According to the New York Post's Charles Gasparino, Gensler moved rapidly after joining the SEC, requesting a meeting with then-Chairman Jay Clayton in March 2018. The SEC was considering declaring the three most popular cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP, to be unregistered securities and liable to costly enforcement actions after a flurry of enforcement actions against crypto frauds and scam coins during 2017. According to Gasparino, Gensler supported for Bitcoin to be treated as a real crypto, while Ether and XRP were evading securities regulations, trading as non-registered securities without SEC monitoring. He told the New York Times a few weeks later that there is a good argument for both of them. They are non-compliant securities, particularly Ripple. Ito's apparent enthusiasm to pick a winner cryptocurrency and Gensler's zeal to be a top regulator were a match made in heaven. Neither appeared to care as much about establishing clear, consistent norms that could be applied across the board as they did about establishing rules that were best for them. Gensler and Ito used the Howey test from a 1946 Supreme Court ruling that provided a procedure for identifying securities but never considered the intricacies of blockchains and ledgers in their June 2018 presentation. Gensler also proposed the duck test, which states that if anything quacks, walks, and appears to be a security, it is. However, according to Gensler and Ito, ducks can transform into giraffes if they are sufficiently decentralized, a concept not considered in Howey but enthusiastically promoted by Ethereum to its SEC pals at the time. Gensler and Ito also presented a self-contradictory regulatory indictment of Bitcoin rival XRP, claiming that it is an investment contract in Ripple, the company, but admitting that the XRP token and ledger would continue to function independently if Ripple went away. All of these exclusions appear to be motivated by the desire to turn the lack of regulatory clarity into a Rorschach test for handy, self-serving hypotheses. It allows Ito to claim that altcoins should be kept out of the community architecture, while Ethereum is given regulatory clearance. Gensler gets to rule over the regulatory arena while enhancing his party's credentials with spectacular enforcement operations that propel him to his next position as Treasury Secretary. However, not everything at MIT is perfect. While Gensler is untouchable, Ito has been blamed for discoveries that the MIT lab was partially funded by Jeffrey Epstein and Leon Black. Furthermore, investors are protesting against the Securities and Exchange Commission. Clayton filed a $1.3 billion enforcement lawsuit against Ripple on his last day in office in 2020, arguing that XRP has been unregistered security since 2013 and that everyone should have known. Over 50,000 enraged XRP investors have launched a class action complaint alleging that the agency ruined their investments. Let's see how XRP is doing on the 30th. The XRP's price is on the mend as we head into the weekend, having extended its 3-day recovery from 4-week lows of $0.9543. Despite the general downturn in the crypto market, Ripple bulls remain optimistic, as the number 3 coin's fundamental news continues to sustain the uptrend. SBI Holdings Inc., a Japanese online financial firm, stated that it employs XRP as a bridge currency for international remittances to the Philippines in partnership with SBI VC Trade and SBI Ripple Asia, which is one of the promising causes. According to FX Street's crypto editor, Ekta Moria, analysts forecast a 324% increase for XRP price based on Ripple's latest collaborations and proceedings in SEC versus Ripple case. XRP price has reclaimed all of the main daily moving averages, DMA, on its way to recovery from monthly low and is now poised to challenge the last important resistance level to extend the bullish turnaround. The above-mentioned barrier is the $1.1415 falling trendline resistance, which must be broken on a daily basis to confirm an upside breakout from the month-long falling wedge formation. The bullish technical breakout will pave the way for a new surge towards the $1.4075 pattern goal. Bulls in XRP will find heavy resistance near the $1.2291 highs set in October. The $1.30 round amount will be used further up. The 14-day Relative Strength Index, RSI, is moving higher within positive territory, implying that the price of XRP has room to rise further. A rejection at the falling trendline resistance, on the other hand, might reawaken the selling, sending the XRP price down to test the 21 DMA's resistance turn support at $1.10. The horizontal 50 DMA of $1.0567 is expected to provide the next substantial support. Bears may test the bids around $1.0250, where the 100 and 200-day moving averages are hovering if the XRP price continues to fall. Sellers will look for new entry below the latter, initiating a new sell-off into multi-week lows, with the next cap seen at $0.9472, which is the falling trendline support. Do you invest in XRP? If you want to continue to know about XRP, we have got 2 more videos waiting for you on the end screen to check out. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Before heading out, kindly note that prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered as financial advice. Do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.